I do. I always want to hear a joke about construction.
Still working on it.
Very nice. Look at your nice lighting. Look how good you look. And then I'm over here just looking like, you know.
My guy does a great job. I really look like a pile of shit. So shout out to Christian. You're the real MVP.
Yeah, Christian's the man. I'm
He's the
very upset that
man.
I didn't come up there this time and come get a steak, but my ass is broke this year, so
Come on, man. You're always
things
welcome
happen.
with open arms. All right.
Reinvesting. Isn't it a
How about
good
those Buffalo Bills, huh?
rebuilding year?
Rebuilding year. Not for the Bills though. We're Super Bowl bound. We're gonna bring home a Lombardi. It's gonna be
It's all
great.
happening.
Nick Pratt seems to think the Green Bay Packers are gonna win it, but sad news for Nick. They aren't.
The pack of
What's new, man? What's new in your business in roofing? What kind of trends are you seeing? What's going on, bruh?
man, I am just let me turn this piece of crap off. So, man, it's just been a really good year rebuilding wise and helping a lot of folks. We added some training this year, recruiting training. So we did that this year. So that's going really well. So
What are the
we
biggest
have,
challenges that roofing companies face with regards to recruiting?
yeah, I think not understanding what it actually takes to do so. I think they
Hmm.
think it's easier than what it is. So companies land in three different stages. So the first stage is usually like family, which is you hire people that are close to you. A lot of the stuff is unconditional, right? People get away with a lot. There's not a lot of accountability. Then when the owner decides to go to the next level, then it's got to be more accountability. So it's more of a teamwork. So people
Okay.
start working for them because they feel like it's a team, and now they're joining a team that they feel comfortable with. They know exactly what their assignments are. Most roofing contractors don't understand that people actually want to be told what to do, especially when it comes to administration and so on and so forth. And then what their clear expectations are, so that way they can do a good job. People at the end of the day want to do a good job, and they need to be. Then that needs to be defined. And then the third stage is the actual company itself or the brand. And, you know, people work for a brand now opposed to the family or the team. They start working for a company that's, you know, people won't work for Coca Cola because Coca Cola. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way it is. And
Hmm.
so getting them through those three stages and understand that recruiting and HR through that entire process is really what scales you because you can only do what you can do on your own without having other people help you. So um, I don't know, having them buy in is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I think you hit on a really good point with regards to people want to be told what to do. They want clarity around their role and what does a really good job look like. Also, like what does a really shitty job look like?
Yeah,
And if you can help people understand that at the early stages, like before they're hired, you know, it might take you more time to fill a position, but the quality of person and the likelihood that you experience, you know, churn in that position is significantly lower and higher that you get that quality person because it's like I know what to expect. And honestly, for me, I've said it God, probably 2 dozen times on podcasts before, like relationships either flourish or flounder in with expectations, right?
yeah,
You got to be clear. It doesn't matter. It's employer, employee, it's husband, wife, it's brother, sister, mother, daughter. Like, doesn't matter. I
yeah,
need to be able to rely on you for X. What is X? And if I should be able to rely on you and I can't, the likelihood that that relationship is fruitful and flourishes is substantially lower. Nobody
yeah,
likes anyone that's not dependable,
yeah,
right? So
100%. Yeah,
I
that's good
love that.
stuff. And you
I
know, I
didn't realize
mean,
that I made that mistake early on in my company. You know, I
yeah,
hire good people, like, you know, vet people, hire good people, trust that they're very good at what they do and kind of like just let them be. But I think that there's another piece to it as well, and it's managing like to that expectation. And not so much like, you know, breathing down their neck and creating that feeling of micromanagement, but taking an interest and consistently following up on what they're supposed to do and coaching them on how to be better, and giving them praise for the things that they're doing well, and making sure that they know that you know. I didn't do that early on in my company, and it was brought to my attention that like some folks within the company were craving that. I was like, for me, it was something where I had gone through like heavy micromanagement throughout my career, and it's the one reason that led to me starting Assignment. I fucking hated it. I was like, I can't do it.
Right.
But there's a big difference between management and micromanagement, right?
Right.
And how you choose to manage your people will ultimately dictate how they interpret what it is that you're doing, right?
Yeah, I think you know, when I look at micromanagement versus true management, micromanagement is task oriented and true management is execution oriented, right? Like when you micromanage, you're micromanaging the task. When you're truly managing, you're managing the actual expectations. Here's what our expectations are. This is what we're doing, and then holding them accountable to set expectations based off however they want to do the task, as long as it's inside of your parameters. You know what I mean? As long as they're not doing anything illegal or wrong, whatever it may be. I've learned when I step back, a lot of times my team's so much better than I am at coming up with ways to do things that they do on a daily basis that I just sit back and just in amazement watching my team do what they do, so.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So let's say you have sales. You've got a lot of different ways you can get the ball across the goal line.
Mhm.
Do you give them like an SOP, a script to say this is how we do it? You're welcome to iterate once you understand this script, try it, and you can then make it your own flavor. Do you make them come up with their own? Like if you're managing the outcome or the expectation versus the task, you wouldn't necessarily have that script, right? Like what does that look like?
So it's interesting. Last time I was on with you, I was very non-script, right? I was like, man, I just don't want script. I want nothing to do with scripts. And so not that I'm a script guy, right? But
Big script
now,
guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so as I've gone through with these companies, I've really dove into these companies that I've had this year to help them really try to get their talent level to the next level, because so many of them are able to hire in their bubble, in their circle, around them, friends and family, so on and so forth. And you can get a company to $10 million hiring people you know. You know, I mean, you look at Perimeter Roofing. I mean, Raymond and Todd and those guys. I would say 80% of the people that work for them, they knew they got a 40 million, $50 million, a 9-figure exit whenever they did that, and it was based off people they knew. Well, a lot of home service business owners don't necessarily have that same type of group, and so they got to start hiring from the outside. And those people have a belief level that is lower than if you knew me, you knew I was in sales, you knew that I was doing cake stands last weekend, but I made $100,000 this year. Your belief level of being able to do this job would be significantly higher, because you're like, Jay's an idiot. If he can do it, I can do it. Okay. Well, when you're hiring from people from outside, they don't know about your weaknesses. They just see the people in the office as people that are diligent at what they do and can do a good job, and they're always questioning themselves. So for me, I have to get them through 3 stages. First, when I bring them in to hire them, I say this all the time, but I train people with abs, right? I teach people how to get abs. And for anybody that can't see me, I don't have an abs. I don't have a ab, nor any abs. But I want to hire for attitude. I want to build belief in themselves, the industry, the company, everything there is. And then if they believe enough, they will take time to learn the skill. And I would get them through the first 2 stages. And when I got to the skill, and I realized, man, it's probably better if I put some type of script out there and then explain the way that I do the script. So we started doing that, and it's been a little bit better as far as the folks at the door. And now I'm talking about straight door knockers, right? Folks that actually get out and knock the doors, of how we do it. We just do it through an acronym called INTRO, which is introduce, um, neighborhood, nearby, why am I here? Then you're going to do the tender. So what's your offer, right? Free roof inspection. Then you got to get them to relax in some way. Hey, listen, no worries. At the end of this, good, bad, or indifferent, at least you'll know what's going on with your roof. You get the homeowner to relax, and then you obtain their information. And so I try to give them that outline, and then they can build their own script and their own verbiage based off of that outline. So,
Okay. I was in a sales job and we had a 14-page script.
Yeah, I remember.
And I found it was incredibly helpful. Well, they made us memorize, and then you had like 2 weeks on the floor. They gave it to you when you got hired, and then your training was 2 to 4 weeks after that, and then 2 weeks after training, you would get quizzed on it, pass, fail. If you failed, you're out the door. If you pass, like you get an opportunity to stay. I thought it was a really interesting, like looking back at it, it was a very interesting way to find people that were committed to at least trying to be good at the job, right? And I did find benefit in it. It was if you sat there and read the script and took a customer as it was dictated through the script, you wouldn't have sold anybody. But what it allowed you to do is like when you would get those objections that are tough to overcome, you always had that binky to shove in your mouth and right. You felt like a baby with a binky, like, because you had something.
Yeah.
And it was helpful for that. And I didn't keep much of it, but in my first few months in doing sales, it was incredibly helpful to lean on as a pacifier.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, now I wrote the book, or wrote not a book, I'm not gonna call it a book, it's a whatever PDF called The Rep Factory. And pretty much I'm just building the Rep Factory and showing everybody how we're growing these businesses. I never really knew how I grew the businesses before. I just knew that I was doing it. And now I'm actually putting it on paper, I'm actually gonna have a course and showing people how to actually do it. I always just did it because I was in network marketing and I knew how to recruit, hire, and train people, and I didn't think it was like the back of my hand. You know what I mean? I didn't realize there was actually some type of skill to it. I don't know. I was always really good at having people follow me. I don't know why. I appreciate everybody that ever did, but I just got really good at it. So now we're trying to put that where it can be reciprocated through other companies. So.
Well, it's crazy, like, just how innately some people are so good at some things and so terrible at others, and then, the person next to them, complete opposite.
Yeah.
I had an employee that was talking to me recently, and they're like, I don't know, they go up and talk to Charlie all the time. I'm like, listen, all right, if you use Charlie as a litmus test, you're gonna fail every time. I was like, it's inexplicable why everybody gravitates towards Charlie. People love Charlie. I don't like we. So there's this restaurant in Buffalo. It's called Hutch's, and the owner of the restaurant, we'd gone there. Dude, I would go there almost every day after work because we were located literally 12 steps from it. And I'd go and buy dinner and whatever, maybe for like a year straight. And we're sitting there the one day. This was maybe 6 months after that, where we had started going maybe once a week. And the owner of the establishment walks up, shakes Charlie's hand. He starts talking to him. Didn't say fucking boo to me. I was like, that's crazy. He's like, sorry, Mike, I don't know. He's like, it's always been. I was like, dude, it's amazing. I admire you. Teach me your ways, Charlie.
Teach me your ways. Tell me how it can be.
He's like, just stop being an asshole to people. I'm like, I'm not an asshole. I'm just a little direct, man. Fuck. Apparently people don't love that. Anyway, here we are, thriving, right? Jesus.
Good.
What's one tip you'd give?
When I was on your podcast, I think I might have said something.
What's that?
I said I think I called you a self-proclaimed asshole last time I was on your podcast. So.
Yeah. Yep. Sure did. It's a title I wear proud. What's one tip you'd give a roofing company owner that's watching who's looking to bring in talent to his company or her company?
Yeah, for sure. Know what you're looking for first. Right, so many people go fishing without the lure. So if I was going to go fishing for a mackerel off the whatever coast of wherever, I don't know shit about fishing. But if I was going to go do that, I would have to have some offshore fishing equipment, and I need to set myself up to be an offshore fishing boat, whatever. But if I'm going to go fish for bluegill in Kentucky, then I'm going to have a completely different setup. A lot of them are just trying to hire to get bodies in and not really understand what they're going to do with them when they get them. And when they get somebody that says yes, here's the thing, you can hire people and bring them in, and you might have a $5 million person come through your office in an interview, but are you ready for that $5 million person? Like, have you prepared it? Do they know what the non-negotiables of the company are? Do they know, just a lot of stuff set up, getting ready, and then come up with a plan, putting finance behind it. It's our estimation that $5,000 spent and recruiting should generate you at least one sales rep that is in Georgia $1 million. Depending on where you are in the country, depends on what it is, but in Georgia, you should be able to get $1 million sales rep out of $5,000 in recruiting money.
Okay. So I had lost you for about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
I lost you at offshore equipment. You need some offshore equipment. So why don't you take a sip of Coke? We'll run that back to make sure that we got the whole thing.
Sure.
So if there was one tip that you give a roofing company owner that's watching this show right now with regards to recruiting, what would it be?
Yeah, I think actually have a plan. Put a plan in place of what exactly you're looking for. Set your goals and your KPIs, and make sure that you know what you're looking for. For example, if I was going fishing for, I don't know, anything. What am I talking? What was I saying before?
What if it was, let's say it was a mackerel. You're fishing for a mackerel.
Yeah. Someone completely off tangent. Okay. So so if I was going fishing for off deep sea fishing, offshore fishing, I need to prepare myself to go fishing for a fish that is offshore, deep sea fishing. We're going to do that way. So if you're looking for a experienced sales rep, then you've got to put your recruiting efforts together and such to go fishing for a big fish. If you're just looking for people to come help you knock doors and potentially become sales reps, then you need to prepare yourself like you would if you were going bass fishing in a lake. Like the equipment and the money you're going to put behind it and the plan that you put behind it is all different based on what you're going for.
Know what you want before you go looking for it. That's good dating advice too, Jay.
It is. It is.
It's good dating advice. If you're looking for a partner, you should probably establish what you're looking for, what's acceptable, not acceptable, before you marry them, right?
Yeah, you pick, gender, height, weight, attitude, all the things.
Interesting. And now, what you had made mention of something earlier. For every 5,000 that you put into recruiting a new sales rep, you should get a $1 million sales rep. Was that it?
Yeah, that's about the average that we're seeing through our companies. If they invest 5,000 into Indeed or Facebook for recruiting, usually we get one really good sales rep, like one top-notch sales rep. And I say that because most of the owners that I start to work with, they think that running $200 on an Indeed ad is going to get them $3 million sales reps, and that's just not reality.
Yeah, and it's so unreasonable to think that, right?
It's kind of like probably running SEO or Facebook or any of those things.
Yeah, like I'll talk to people and they're like, hey, we spent 10 grand and we did 130,000. Why are we doing so poorly? Like, what do you mean?
Unbelievable.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
But like if you think about it, yeah, there's going to be many there's going to be many more shit salespeople than quality salespeople, right?
Sure.
Like you said, a lot easier to catch a bass, standing down at the lake shore than it is to go out in a deep sea fishing boat and have the captain take you to the spot that he knows is good and where there's tons of big fish, because you still might not get a big fish. You might have just spent the time out there and not got anything, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you should never go deep sea fishing again. It's actually a bucket list thing. I've never gone. I kind of want to go.
So we should go.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And I can put real numbers behind that. So if you're looking for bodies to then train them how to be part of your team, then I'm looking to spend anywhere from $2 to $4.50 per applicant on Indeed, for example. However, if I'm looking for an experienced sales rep, I'm going to spend somewhere between $35 to $45 per applicant. Now, out of the applicants, whenever you invite them, 30% of the people will actually show up to the appointment. I don't know why that is. It's just in sales. It's the way it is. So if you invite 100, 30 will show up. after you present them, usually 50% will get started, and usually you'll get 1 to 2 out of that. So depending on how you run it, but just put real numbers behind it. If you're looking for just anybody off the street, $2 to $4.50 per applicant. If you're looking for experienced sales reps that potentially, by the way, could bring baggage, so I try not to do that too much. Usually $35 to $45 per applicant.
What's an easy way through the beginning of the process when you're interviewing candidates to discern whether or not this person's full of shit and they're actually good, or if they're good and they have toxic qualities that are going to be a detriment to your team?
Yeah, I try to hire attitude first, but I pretty much will give anybody that can fog up a pocket mirror a chance. So my testing matrix is way different than most people, and it's really worked for the companies I think the thing is, I think it would almost do everybody a disservice if I felt like I could judge a person in a 15-minute interview. So we just give them the option. We do a group interview. We show them what the deal is all about. I have a presentation that my companies go through. And then at the end of the interview, you're either an A, a B, or a C. An A means, hey, you're ready to roll. A B means that you got more questions. And a C means that it's just not for you. We dismiss the C's. We answer the questions for the B's. We have the A's start the paperwork. By the time we get done, everybody that's ready to get started that day, we throw them in a truck. We put them right next to us. We show them, we drive them past a build, or we drive them past a build we've done before to, just show a little belief. Then we stop at a house and we point at it and go, knock that door. And they say, what do I say? And I go, I don't know. Just go get us on that roof. Offer them a free roof inspection. Get on the door. And I know that sounds just crazy nuts. But for me, I'm not testing the skill of the person yet. I'm testing the heart of the lion. Yeah. Do you have the balls to get out of the truck and go hit a door not knowing what to say or when to say it or how to say it? Like, if you got it,
if you've got that, we can teach you the rest.
If you get out of the truck, I'm with you forever. You're worth my time if you at least get out of the truck and go try. I don't want necessarily, and it's amazing how many people their first day get more leads that day than they'll ever get any other time. Because once we start to train them, then they start to do other stuff and they slow down. But that first day, I've had people get up to 4 or 5 leads a day on that first day, which is just, you get them a big win really, really fast. Did I lose you? You back?
Yeah, I keep losing you. Not sure why.
Is it my internet? It's probably my internet.
Probably your internet.
Let me shut all this stuff.
Fucking Jay's internet. God damn it.
I know, it's my fault.
What percentage of the people, when you're like, hey, day one, look at this cool roof that we just built out. This is how we got the job. By the way, go knock that fucking random door. What percentage of the people just are like, no?
It's actually very rare that they don't get out of the truck. It's amazing that, look, you don't start this job because your life is in a great position. I don't know anybody that got in roofing and was like, you know what, my life was in a perfect spot and I didn't need another shot or another break. And I just thought, what the hell, I'm going to go start knocking doors. Like, that's just not the truth. Right? People get in roofing because they are in a position where they need help. They need something different. They're looking for a step up or come up, or they're young and they're hungry, whatever it is. So very rarely, I would say maybe 2 out of 10 will not get out of the truck, which is fine. You're just telling me on day one that I don't need to spend the rest of my 3 weeks with you, which is what most roofing companies will do, is hire them and then train them for 3 weeks and then realize by the end of that 3 weeks that they wouldn't even get out of the truck to begin with. So what the hell are we spending our time with them for?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you see AI making the recruiting and hiring process any easier?
Yeah, pretty significantly. There's a lot of things that are happening. We're actually building out a platform where we're going to be able to put butts in seats for our contractors. that's our next big piece of Roof Nuts is we're putting together an entire platform where they can just hire us, and I guess it's a recruiting deal. I never thought I would be a recruiting whatever that is. But that's what it's turned into be, and now is like, all right, well, let me control your money to make sure you're not spending too much. Because I mean, holy cow! I talked to a company the other day, and I started looking at their Indeed numbers, and their per applicant was like $72. I was like, fellas, we are doing stuff way wrong, and it's because they put door to door in their ad. By the way, out there, Nugget, if you're looking for people, don't put door to door in the ad on Indeed. People do not want to do that. It's like, you got to think about it. It's like, if you read that ad before you ever got into roofing and understood how cool it was to be door to door, like, would you answer that? Hell no. You know what I mean? Man.
It's a really good point because so when I was out of college, I wanted to do sales. So I was on Indeed or ZipRecruiter, something, and it was like New York Marketing Agency, and it's outside sales. This compensation, expect to make this much, and they're like, we're meeting, you and the other applicants. We're going to do a group interview, and we're going to meet at like Sam's Club or BJ's or whatever the store was. I was like, that's kind of weird. I was like, but that's different. I'm excited to see like what this entails. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was selling DirecTV or fucking whatever inside of Sam's Club or BJ's, and I'm like, well, hold on a second. So I was pissed about it, but they got 10 people to show up. Right? And as it turns out, I ended up being good at sales, if you look at it objectively. Just not for them because I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I was just like, that's not what I want to do. I want to sell something else. But I'm sure they probably got somebody that sold for them and sold really well. And they didn't put, DirecTV kiosk salesperson in the ad because nobody would probably ever answer that ad. So that's a really fucking good point.
When we go to Sam's and stuff, I hang out with those people and try to train them.
Yeah.
While Kim's going and getting groceries and stuff, I'm like, you could have stopped that lady because she had a blank, whatever. I always just say stuff. I just sold myself a bunch of stuff at the 5-minute oil change because the guy that was doing, I guess he was my server at the 5-minute oil change or whatever. And he showed me my air filter, and he's like, we got these air filters for $32. And I was like, well, do you think I need one? I knew I needed one because I was at the point where I knew I needed one. I was like, do you think I need one? And he goes, yeah, it's pretty bad. And I was like, do you get commission every time you sell that? And he was like, yeah, I get $3. And I was like, how many times a day do you want to make $3? And he was like, a whole bunch. And I said, okay. Well, here's what I would do. I would grab the air filter every time, and I go, usually I don't mention anything because most people aren't interested, but your air filter, I just needed to take the time to let you know that you probably need to go ahead and get one like soon, if not today. We've actually got them on special, so would you like to go ahead and get one now while we got the hood up? Yes? Okay, great. All right, perfect. I was like, you got to build that sense of urgency into them and show them they can do it. And I got a text message from him yesterday, and he goes, dude, I sold 3 today. I was like, all right, let's go. I was like, you're the expert, man. You're here. You're the guy.
Yeah, that's true. It's
cheap Logitech. I need Christian over here with all this beautiful camera stuff.
Rome wasn't built in a day, Jay.
Know,
Rome
right?
wasn't built in a day. Isn't it interesting though, like as humans, how the difference in the way somebody frames something to us and their approach, how much it can make an impact in how we receive it, how we process it, how it makes us feel, and ultimately decisions that we make.
I mean, it's a huge difference. I mean, let me see if I can fix this. Hold, please. That work? No. Of course not. Framing my big ass into this little, hey, there you go. All right, so, yeah, I think, it's so interesting to, sales in general is just bringing two things together that should have been together to begin with, in my opinion, right? Like, I'm not going to sell you something that you don't need, but if you need it, and I have the skill to explain to you why you need it, then it's important. I mean, I'll tell you a story about when I was very first in roofing and I was really bad at sales. I used to think I was really good at sales. People always said I was a great salesperson because I could talk to people. And I think I just talked to enough people back when I sold when I was younger that I just did numbers more than anything else. But when I started studying sales and really understanding the behind the scenes and actually how to sell people, the framework, um, I disappointed myself. When I was very young in the roofing industry, I had some friends that had a $5,000 deductible, and I saw the $5,000 deductible, and the problem with it was that 5,000 at that time was a big deal to me. Like for me personally, I was looking at 5,000 going, Jesus Christ, like that is a lot of fucking money. Like I'm not sure what that looks like. Like I couldn't even imagine paying $5,000. And so, but I knew that they needed a roof, and I knew they were in a position right now where they could qualify for a roof. But me personally, I couldn't get over the $5,000, and so because of that, I was weak as a salesperson, as a closer, and I just told them I was like, I mean, I know it's $5,000, that's a lot of money. Like, let's just kind of wait for the next storm. Well, the problem with it was because they didn't file under that storm, which was a year prior, and their new policy came in, they were ACV. What ended up happening was another storm comes through, and they have to get a new roof, but they had an ACV policy, and they ended up having to spend $15,000 on their roof instead of $5,000. And it was my fault that they had to pay an extra $10,000 because I was a weak salesperson at the beginning of the whole deal. If I would have explained to them the situation, framed it the proper way, they would have got a brand new roof and been able to get a better policy for the second storm. They wouldn't have had to pay the extra $10,000 out, whatever. It was just because I was weak at the end of the day.
Shame on you.
I know. What an asshole.
Be better.
It's bad. Hurts my feelings.
I think
I don't like people.
I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why there's so many people that aren't good at sales is they're selling from their own pocket.
Yeah.
I did in the beginning. I remember the amount of anxiety that I'd have in sales and it didn't matter, $800 a month, $2,000 a month, $4,000. I'm like, that's just a ton of money, and but that also bleeds into and directly. I don't know if it's causally related, but it's a strong correlation between your belief in what you do, right, and your ability to do it well. And as a new salesperson, you don't know how confident you should be in the person that you're selling things for, or the company you're selling things for, right? So I think that's hard to manufacture day one, that confidence. But between those two things, selling from your own pocket and belief in what you do, you're not going to find many people that perform well in sales if they don't have both those things, like the ability to disconnect what they're selling from their own financial situation and actually believe in what it is that they're selling.
I mean, it's right now my coaching package is $15,000, and people are like, $15,000, oh my gosh, da 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 da. And I didn't start there. It wasn't like I started there. But here's what's happened. I've had 4 companies that have exited. The owners have all cashed out huge millions of dollars, and I've helped them grow their businesses. So is it worth $15,000? Now I can confidently say, hey, I've only had one company in the past year in Ohio that I just, for whatever reason, can't get them over the hump. And I feel like shit for it. And I'm going to refund them and figure it out, whatever. But all the other companies I've worked with have all grown substantially.
I appreciate that transparency.
Yeah.
And that's good of you to do the right thing by them. But, if you've got a proven process, what do you think it is that makes them different?
Oh, man, I don't know. There's got to be, and I'm not physically there, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on during the meetings. I know the numbers aren't nearly what they should be as far as what their show up ratio is and what they're doing to get people there, and I don't have control over theirs. They decided to do it on their own, and so it's like one of those puzzle pieces. You're just trying to figure out where the hell the corner is, just so you can get started and compound on the rest of it. For some reason, though, they just, even when they get people in, they get them in the truck the first day. They can't get them to come back the second day, and I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, It could very
You
well.
said you don't have a control over a particular variable that you usually do have control over?
Well, so some of my companies, I run all their ads for them and I do all the stuff, but they're doing their own.
Why don't you
So,
make it mandatory that you do it?
yeah, I probably could. I probably could. It's just the time and effort it goes into it. They were really worried about ROI, so I don't know, man. It's frustrating when you have somebody that's just, and you admittedly know that it's not working for that one person. I got 9 other companies right now active that are like smoking it, freaking killing it. I don't know. It's very frustrating. And the problem with me is I will hang on that one that is not making it. I won't even think about the other 9. I don't even care. Like that, I got 3 text messages this morning talking about how many deals they closed and what they're doing and all this stuff. And I got this one company that just can't quite get over the hump, and that company will bug me. It's just crazy. What's his name? Gary Vee had a deal yesterday, and I put a TikTok out, and it was like, what is it? What's the one thing you suck at the most? And I stitched it, and I put, what's the one thing I suck at the most? It's not focusing on my shit when I'm so worried about other people. Like it's a dysfunction of mine to, I guess, over care or whatever. Sometimes when I shouldn't give a shit, I do too much. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm treating this like a therapy.
I'll take that over a
appreciate it.
sociopath any day.
Huh?
At least you're not a sociopath. I'd rather have you this way than that way.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Jay Bradley, the big old teddy bear, cares too much.
It's just my mom, man. My mom left that with me, I guess, on this earth. When she left me being somebody that just wanted better and truly want more for people than I want for myself, and that's a problem, right? I shouldn't want that, but
is it? Yeah, I mean, let's work on you wanting stuff for yourself, but caring about other people and wanting them to do better. That's a good quality. We could use more of that in today's day and age. So, well, man, this is we're doing more concise episodes because our viewership drops after 30 minutes. But we need to do this again. I'm incredibly grateful for your time. Shout out to the team at Roofer. Look at guys, if you need a roof quote, instant roof measurements, you need clean and pristine proposals, you need CRMs, you need to talk to good people, just hit up the team at Roofer. They got you, I promise. If you need some coaching, my guy Jay. I mean, it takes a big person to come onto a show where there's millions of people watching it.
Millions, yeah,
millions. And
I would have took my shirt off had I known you wanted those numbers.
Listen, and a lot to be able to come here and with having so much success and then just talk and highlight, the one thing that you feel like you fell short on, and to be transparent with people. Not many people would do that. And that's the type of person I'd want to do business with, if it's me, right? I don't own a roofing company, so I don't have a dog in this fight. But if I did and I was struggling with some of these things, I'd hit up my guy, Jay Bradley. If they wanted to do that, how would they go about doing so, Jay?
Yeah, it's roofnuts.com. You can get on there, and we've got the cold call appointments, of course. That's kind of our bread and butter. And then door-to-door teams. We still got teams out knocking doors for contractors. But we're launching this recruiting platform, so it's not necessarily on the website yet, but if you're interested in recruiting, you can go book a call with me. If you book a call on the website, it goes directly to me, and I'll jump on there, and we'll have a conversation and see if potentially I could help you 3x in the next 18 months. That's my goal for every one of them. So.
Well, always a pleasure, brother. It's great to see you, and can't wait to do this again sometime.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.